Between 2020 and 2023, the average American rent jumped 26%, not in one city, nationally, and wages did not keep up. Today, nearly half of all U.S. renters spend more than 30% of their income on housing. That is the official line where the government classifies you as financially stressed. 12 million people spend over half their paycheck just on rent, and in not one of America's 50 largest cities can a minimum wage worker afford a one-bedroom apartment at what experts call affordable. Not one city. Here is what nobody tells you. The market did not just drift here, it was steered. And once you see how, the whole thing looks different. The rental market used to be inefficient in a way that accidentally helped you. Landlords set prices based on gut instinct, local knowledge, whatever the apartment down the street was charging. That created real competition. It left room to negotiate. It left room to walk away. Then, a company called RealPage quietly rewired the whole system, and most renters never found out. RealPage sells software to landlords, not small landlords, the big property management companies, the kind that own enough units to fill an entire zip code. And the software did not just help them track maintenance requests or manage leases. It told them exactly what to charge for rent every single day, using an algorithm. And that algorithm was not just reading public market data, it was reading each landlord's private occupancy rates, their renewal offers, their exact pricing moves. Competitively sensitive, non-public information shared across thousands of properties fed into one system which then spat out rent recommendations for all of them. The Department of Justice sued RealPage in August 2024 and called it a scheme that, in their words, deprives the market of fully independent centers of decision-making on pricing. In plain English, the landlords stopped competing with each other. They all plugged into the same brain. One landlord told RealPage that after adopting the software, they started raising rents within a week. Within 11 months, they had pushed prices up by more than 25%. This is not a conspiracy theory. It is a lawsuit with 8 state attorneys general attached and a settlement reached in November 2025. The settlement included no fines, no admission of wrongdoing, and no financial penalties for anyone. RealPage agreed to change how it collects data going forward. That was it. But here's the thing. The algorithm is only the first layer of the machine. The second layer is fees, and this is where it gets almost funny if you are the landlord. In 2025, Zillow surveyed renters and found that 60% paid at least one mandatory fee on top of their rent, not optional fees, mandatory ones. There's the application fee, usually $40 to $100 per apartment, non-refundable. There's the administrative fee, the move-in fee, the convenience fee charged for the privilege of paying your rent online. There's valet trash, where someone picks up a bag outside your door and you pay $25 a month whether you want it or not. And then there's what tenant advocates have started calling the January fee, a charge that shows up at the start of the year for no stated reason whatsoever. Application fees alone cost American renters $276 million a year in excess charges. That's money paid by people who did not get the apartment to landlords who already knew only one person could get it. You're paying an entry fee for a lottery you'll probably lose, and the prize is giving the winner even more of your money every month. Here's the compounding problem. Because supply is tight, you're not applying to one apartment, you're applying to 5 or 6, so that $75 application fee is not $75, it's $400 before you've signed anything. Then you move in, and the advertised rent is $200 less than what you actually owe once they stack in the amenity package you can't opt out of. The market is not rewarding transparency, it's punishing it. But even that is not the most important part. The most important part is what keeps all of this in place. You cannot leave. Renting used to come with an exit. You saved up, you bought, you got off the treadmill. That door is basically closed now. Mortgage rates spent most of 2024 above 7%. A median-priced home requires an income most renters don't have, so you're not a consumer with options. You're a captive customer, and the market is priced accordingly. This is what makes the algorithm so effective. In a real competitive market, price coordination has limits because customers walk. But when the only alternative to renting is also unaffordable, renting stops being a choice and starts being a toll booth. The algorithm is not just setting prices, it's collecting the maximum amount the situation allows because the situation offers no escape. The Census Bureau confirmed that in 2023, 21 million renter households were cost-burdened. That's the national baseline, not a quirk of one expensive city, the entire country. And here's the quiet irony at the center of all of this. Landlords screen applicants using a rule that says your rent should not exceed 30% of your income. You must prove you can afford it by that standard before they let you sign. But the prices they're charging are the very reason most people fail that test. They're using an affordability rule as a filter while running a system designed to make affordability impossible. So let's walk through the whole machine one more time, quickly. Step 1. Landlords share private pricing data through a common algorithm, which coordinates rents upward across the market. Step 2, they advertise a base rent and then layer on mandatory fees that raise the actual cost by 10 to 20%. Step 3, they collect non-refundable application fees from the majority of applicants they were never going to choose. Step 4, they rely on the fact that buying is unaffordable, so renters absorb all of it and come back next year. Each piece of this has a legal defense. The algorithm is just software. The fees are disclosed in the lease. The screening is industry standard. But stacked together, they form a system that extracts maximum value from people who need shelter, which is everyone. None of this required anyone sitting in a boardroom deciding to be evil. It just required landlords to have better tools than renters, reliable captive demand, and a regulatory environment too slow to catch up before the machine fully calcified. That's the part that should bother you most. This was not a dramatic moment of greed. It was a slow upgrade. New software here, a new fee category there, a settlement with no penalties somewhere down the line. And by the time most people noticed, the numbers had already moved. If you found any of this useful, subscribing genuinely helps this channel reach people who are trying to make sense of the same systems. No pressure, just worth knowing the option exists. The rental market is not broken. It is doing exactly what it was optimized to do. It was just never optimized for you.